Be at the Digital Innovation Conference. We welcome now, it's John Caldwell. He's the Northern District Transportation Commissioner. Commissioner, thanks for coming on, sir.
Thank you, Gerard. It's always good to be in Tupelo. They always have something going on. This digital innovation is certainly worthy of a visit. I mean, it's amazing to watch what they're doing here today.
It's pretty cool, no doubt about it. I'm sure you were able to observe the youngsters that are participating in the fiber splicing rodeo. How neat is that?
Yeah, I think that's a first, and that was pretty interesting. You know, we think of technology and just amazing the things behind the scenes. You mentioned in the earlier segment about digital splicing where you couldn't do it before.
Yeah.
And I remember some of the costs incurred when somebody would dig into the ground and break that fiber optics. And I'm like, what? You can't splice it?
Right.
And they said, no, you can't do that with this. And I'm like, oh, you can't. So
exactly
now they can. That's great.
It changed our world. Now we have fiber traversing the planet, of course, and we couldn't live without it. And our data is traveling on fiber every time we're accessing, storing, reading, pulling down, downloading, whatever the case may be. It's going across that very complex network.
It's definitely interwoven into our society, even almost into our blood, it seems like. But, you know, people a lot of times think of the highway department. It's a shovel and a stop sign, and there's a lot more to it. The technology and testing that we go through, even from asphalt quality to bridge design, computerized traffic signals, the LiDAR technology and flying those drone technology that we use, it just goes on and on and on. So you can be in high-tech world and be interested in that and still be working for MDOT.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. This conference, of course, focused more on the infrastructure aspect of information technology. And, of course, that infrastructure aspect is what allows all these applications and data to be accessed and connects the data and the applications to people, essentially. It's all of that. I call it the high-tech plumbing. That's,
absolutely. Yeah.
that connects it up. It's pretty cool. Well, what's going on in the Northern District from a transportation perspective?
Well, of course, maintenance is nonstop.
Yeah.
Safety and maintenance is where it's all about. We have some construction going on and not near enough, but we're grateful. We've had a great couple of sessions with the legislature. The governor's been very supportive, the lieutenant governor, the Senate, the House. Everybody's kind of on the same page with us, trying to say what is a way that we can solve our problems. And that's not a whole lot different than what they're doing here in technology. I mean, it's a what's the problem? What's the solution approach? And I'm so glad that we're in that mindset. And again, seeing it around here. Matter of fact, there's a Mississippi State autonomous vehicle outside here on display, and we got to be ready for the autonomous vehicles on our highways. So there's a lot of interacting here that's relevant to us in the very near future.
Yeah, absolutely. So did you attend the Speaker's Policy Summit last week? Did you happen to attend that?
I did not attend the last one. They have had a couple of them, on the road, a few interactive sessions, and so I've been involved with some of that, but I did not go to the big one that they just had down in Jackson.
Of course, Executive Director Brad White was on hand, and
Commissioner Simmons was there as well.
That's right. Central District Commissioner Simmons was there, and a lot of discussion, as you know, about potential tax reform, and then, of course, from a transportation perspective, both the Commissioner and Executive Director White. And as have you and our other transportation commissioners have been talking quite a bit about the need for some sort of recurring and reliable funding.
Yeah,
right.
The reliable funding also has to be an increasing amount of funding. I mean, we've had some quote reliable funding in the fuel tax. We can count on it.
Yeah.
But it's been decreasing, not increasing. So we need something that can keep up with inflation and prepare us for a world that may not have as many cars that are using the kind of fuel we're using today. But at the same time, even the ones that are using the fuel today, they get better mileage than my '63 Buick. So we end up getting less money in that regard. So we have a ways to go. But like I said, I think the conversation is getting very much right, and people are realizing that, hey, we're falling short here, and how do we meet the need?
Well, specifically, Director White has called for a recurring revenue stream. He's made some proposals and suggestions along those lines, and he is calling on the legislature to consider that in any plans they may have, any legislation that they may draft concerning reform of our revenue, which is income taxes, sales taxes, excise taxes on fuel, et cetera.
There's a lot of different mechanisms out there being discussed, and certainly we're open to whatever. We're going to support the legislature in their efforts. We don't have the capacity to raise our own revenue, so we have to work with them and find out what is going to be the best fit, because things in Mississippi don't necessarily fit with things in Kansas, and things in Kansas don't fit with things in Nevada. So we understand the uniqueness of our situation, so we want to try to make sure we're supportive of the legislature as they're trying to find solutions to our problems, and I think we're moving in that direction. There's certain types of revenues that we haven't really flushed out yet. One is some internet fees that go on deliveries. So if Amazon and UPS and FedEx and all of them are using electric vehicles and they're not paying a fuel tax, is there a way to assess that on the internet sales? That's not really an internet sales tax, but I think there's a couple of states doing that now where we're monitoring some of that to see if it's effective and if it's appropriate. So we're looking at different options. We're looking at what's actually in the revenue stream today. You know, the internet sales tax or some undesignated funds that we feel like might be appropriate use for us for that same reason, because the internet sales involves people getting on the road and delivering those packages and those kind of things. So I think there's some ways we can look at the existing revenue, maybe look at some other types of revenue streams that may be more appropriate. And we're not shutting the door on anything, but we do know that we have a need and we're trying to find the solution.
What about projects the department is undertaking in the Northern District? What can you report to us there?
Well, we're already well underway now on Highway 15 in Tupelo County, which is known as the Ripley Bypass.
Yeah.
There's also some in Union County. There's a Highway 15 widening project that's underway. That's another year out, but it's well underway, and they're making some huge progress. Good contractors are doing some good work, and then we have Highway 7, which is imminent. We use the word imminent, but it is on its way. We're moving some utilities, so we're still spending money and working in that direction, but those things have to be done before we can actually put it out for contract. But it's real close to where we can say, let's put that thing out for bids and get that built, and that's going to be going from Oxford South to the 9-7 split.
Okay.
And so that's a very much needed project that everybody's well aware of. And then the third project is also in North Mississippi, is on I-55, and that's another one that we're waiting on utilities to be moved. It's a little bit behind on the time frame. It's not behind on the importance scale, but the amount of utilities that have to be moved there is significant. So it's going to take some number of months to get that done before we can put it out for bid.
Commissioner, the state has enjoyed a significant number of economic development wins here over the last couple of years, and in almost all these cases, of course, transportation infrastructure is critical to securing those projects to the state of Mississippi. What sort of discussions are you having with the legislature about that? What are you hearing from economic developers, I guess, more specifically? And then additionally, like the big projects slated for Marshall County, is this putting pressure on our infrastructure where we need more to accommodate?
It is putting pressure on the infrastructure in a good way, obviously. We have capacity on that Highway 72, so that's a good thing. But we did need an interchange built there, and it's going to cost good money for that.
Yeah.
And they're well underway with the design and engineering to try to get that under construction quickly. They're on a hard timeline. And the good thing about those economic development dollars, they come in big and fast, and it helps us kind of break out of our norm. Because of our nature of being underfunded, when we normally plan out, it's hard to find that money to where we can actually put it on a calendar. So people say, why is it taking so long? Well, usually it's the money not getting there fast enough.
I see.
So it's a very sequential process, and we can spread it out over the time as how much money can be available this year versus next year and the next year, and then get the projects done. So it drags those projects out. Economic development dollars are fast, and we love those. So
Yeah.
it's a good project.
Well, in fact, the state has transferred some funding from some balance sheet accounts, right, to the Department of Transportation over the last couple of years. I think almost $1 billion.
Well, that's not in our hands today. You know, that's sitting aside, waiting on us to get our projects in line.
I got you.
So it's actually sitting in another account.
Okay.
And we'll draw on it as we. So our budget.
But it's available.
It's available to us to draw a check.
Okay. Okay. But that was something the legislature saw fit to do with all the surpluses.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They've made a big difference, and,
Yeah.
and that's the kind of thing that helps us move forward. But we need to
Got it.
take it to the next step, and they're helping us get there.
Always good talking to you, Commissioner. Appreciate you
Same
coming
here.
on.
Thank you, Gerard.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Folks, we're stepping aside for a break. Once again, we're at the Digital Innovation Conference in Tupelo. Stay with us.